On 1st of January, a situation as under is prevailing. Spot exchange rate is 70 rupees per dollar. Rupee currency rate of interest 15%, dollar currency 6%. Time period is 1 year. You are required to answer following questions. Mr. A wants to borrow an amount of rupees 2,80,000 for 1 year. And Mr. B wants to invest $1,800 for 1 year. The question says that say if 1 year forward exchange rate is 78 rupees per dollar, advise from where Mr. A should borrow. So whether he should borrow in rupee currency or dollar currency, or he is indifferent between both of them. Advise where Mr. B should investment, rupee, dollar, or indifferent. And so on. Further questions are there, but further questions I would like to see later on. First of all, let us have a discussion how to do say the answer of the first question. Do not do answer, just you write in the chat box answer of the question number 1A and answer of question number 1B. Tell me answer. So let us see how to do answer. So answer of first part of the question, wherein the forward exchange rate is given as 78 rupees per dollar. Let us have understanding that's how to do answer. In that write down working note number 1. Forward exchange rate as per IRPT. Okay. So first of all, my suggestion is to make the computation of the forward exchange rate as per IRPT. Now we already have done this answer. So the forward exchange rate as per IRPT is 75.9434 rupees per dollar. Now actual forward exchange rate is different than this. So we understand that say 1, arbitrage exists. 2, there exists an opportunity that say you borrow in one of the currency and you reduce your repayment of the loan liability. And 3, you make investment in one of the currency and you increase maturity amount of the deposit. In a way that so the market is in inequilibrium situation if at all the things are like this. Please write an answer along with me. Actual forward exchange rate is different in comparison to forward exchange rate as per IRPT. Full stop. So there exists an opportunity of A, arbitrage, B, borrow in one of the currency, comma, to reduce the repayment of loan, C, invest in one of the currency to increase maturity amount of deposit. Now answer. Okay. The question is providing the information that you want to borrow. So if at all you borrow in rupee currency, then in that case what will happen? 2,80,000 into 1.15. This is the repayment of loan. So it is 3,22,000. And if at all you borrow in dollar currency, then in that case 2,80,000 divided by 70. You have to borrow $4,000. What is the rate of interest for borrowing? 6%. So you will have a repayment of loan of 4240. And of course we understand, in order to take a decision, forward contract will be taken, will be entered upon for conversion of the rupees into dollar in order to make repayment of loan. So the answer is 3,30,720. You have to make payment. So of course you prefer to make the payment of the lower amount. So in that case, say you will take a decision that say you should borrow in rupee currency. Sometimes I come across to a question like this from students that, sir, I don't see any sense of doing working note number 1 and to draw all these things. Can't I do this directly? Because over here I will be able to reach to the conclusion directly. And if at all the answer is same, then in that case the forward exchange rate is as per IRPT. We don't have to do anything, and we just have to write that say we are indifferent. Yes, correct. Doing answer like that is also acceptable, wherein you don't do working note number 1, you don't write that conclusion which I have written, and you may do this directly. However, I think that it is the conceptual point, so I dictate that point to you. Now, question number 1b, he wants to invest. Let an answer along with me. Investment of $1,800. We understand that say you may invest in rupee currency and you may invest in dollar currency. If at all you invest in rupee, so it is 1800 into 70. So you have converted dollar into rupees into 1.15. This is the maturity amount in rupees into 1 divided by 78. So it is 1800 into 70 into 1.15 divided by 78. So 1857.69. And if at all you invest in dollar currency, then it is 1800 into 1.06. That comes to $1908. Which one is better? Of course, you have to make investment. So investment in dollar currency would be beneficial. So invest $1800 in United States of America. Read an answer. Now before proceeding for the next question, just a small question to all of you. Suppose over here, suppose the question is Mr. A wants to borrow $1800. Then in that case, what would be the answer? Borrowing in rupees or borrowing in dollar? Friends, the answer is going to remain same. Let's say you should borrow in dollar currency, sorry, rupee currency. Just let us check. You require $1800. If you borrow in dollar currency, your repayment of the loan will be $1908. And if at all you borrow in rupee currency, it is 1800 into 70. This is the amount of the rupees that you have to borrow, for which this is the repayment. And whatever the repayment that you have to make, for that say again you will enter into the transaction for conversion. So 1800 into 70 into 1.15 divided by 78. So it comes to 1857.69. This is the repayment if at all you borrow in dollar currency, and this is the repayment if at all you borrow in rupee currency. So you should again borrow in rupee currency only. Again, if at all the question says that say Mr. B wants to invest, for example, 1,40,000 rupees, then in that case the investment should be made in, please answer in the chat box. Correct answer by everyone. That's our investment should be made again in the dollar currency. So whether you have rupee or you have dollar, you should make investment in dollar and you should borrow in rupees only if at all the forward exchange rate is 78 rupees per dollar. That is what we understand. Second question is, if the forward exchange rate is 72, then in that case advise both of them. Let us answer the second question. If forward exchange rate is 72 rupees per dollar, comma, even in that case IRBT does not exist. Full stop. Hence, we will make following calculations. In that write down, you want to borrow 2,80,000 rupees. So borrowing rupees 2,80,000 in rupee currency and in dollar currency. In rupee currency 2,80,000 into 1.15, 3,22,000. And in case of dollar currency, 2,80,000 upon 70. So 4,000 into 1.06. So that comes to 4240 into 70 to the 10. That comes to 305280. That is the way we will have the repayment. And of course, the option which is having the lower repayment is required to be selected. That is, say you should borrow in dollar currency in this example. Borrowing should be in dollar currency if forward exchange rate is 72 rupees per dollar. Full stop. In bracket write down whether rupee or dollar funds required, comma, borrowing should be in dollar only. Bracket over. Next, investment. In that, again there are two things. One is that say you will invest in rupee currency, and another is that say you invest in dollar currency. If you invest in rupee currency, 1800 into 70 into 1.15 divided by 72. So 2012.5. And if at all you invest in dollar currency, then in that case it is 1800 into 1.06, $1908. So you should invest in dollar, that is rupee currency. Invest in rupee currency. This is the way we are required to write answer. Third question. If forward exchange rate is 75.9434 rupees per dollar, advise from where Mr. A should borrow and advise where Mr. B should invest. Let us answer the third question. Actual forward exchange rate is same as forward exchange rate as per IRPT, comma, so investor is indifferent, comma, where to invest, and borrower is indifferent, comma, from where to borrow. Because what will happen, friends, in both the cases, the maturity amount of the deposit would be same, and in both the cases, repayment of the loan will be same. So we can say like this, if at all we want to cross verify the working, in A part of the question it is you want to borrow in rupees term. So borrow rupees 2,80,000, and for that you have two options. One is in rupees term, 2,80,000 into 1.15. So 3,22,000. And the second is dollar currency, 2,80,000 divided by 70. So this is the dollar that you borrow into 1.06 into forward exchange rate is 75.9434. Please write an answer along with me. So 2,80,000 upon 70 into 1.06 into 75.9434. So it is again 3,22,000. So you can see that you are indifferent. Next, you make investment. Again for that, so there are two things. One thing is that you invest in rupees term, and another is dollar term. It is 1,800 into 1.06, $1908. And in rupees term it is 1,800 into 70 into 1.15 divided by 75.9434. So it is again 1908. This is the way we have the investment maturity, and it is same, and of course in that case you are indifferent. This is the way we are required to make the cross verification if at all we want. Otherwise conceptually we already have written answer over here.